Hello and welcome back to Chaotic and Witchy. Thank you so much for joining me here today. And thank you to everybody who has subscribed or left a comment. It is amazing seeing you guys interact with the pick a card reading. So thank you. And today I have a fun reading for you. Today we're going to be looking at somebody that you have in your mind. It could be anybody, and what their first impressions of you were. So feel free to pick anybody and think of anyone that you wish, and we're going to look into what their impressions of you were when they first met you, when they first had an interaction with you, whatever the case may be, and how they viewed you at the time, and any other insights that might come from the cards. So once again, thank you for joining me. Pick a pile, meditate upon your selection, and I will see you in a little bit. Hello and welcome to your reading pile 1. Thank you so much for joining me here today, and I'm going to get right into it. So I'm going to start with the Chariot. And what the Chariot tells me is that when you met this person that you're thinking about, one of the very first things they thought about is how impressive it was that you were action-oriented, that you knew the path that you had ahead of you, that you were motivated and you were charging forward on a path that you forged for yourself. And with this specific card, as well as the cards that are also in this reading, I get a very strong sense that you weren't always like this, that you have a darkness in your past with this figure over here on top of the mountain. There was something that you had to move away from, something that was likely dark or domineering. It's possible that you had a very difficult upbringing or a lot of painful experiences in your life that have shaped the course of who you want to be in a very positive way. Or it is very likely that you had people in your life who very much set the stage on how your life should look like, what you should do, what you should pursue, what you should avoid, how you should love, how you should, pretty much set the stage for everything that you were supposed to be or become. And for that reason, you felt the need to break away from that, to move away from that, and to forge your own path, even if it's a little bit, like the path is rocky, the waters are a little bit coarse, things don't seem that clear at first, but you know that you're headed towards something better than where you've been. And I think that is one of the things that this person very much saw about you and was drawn towards, because it's very likely that they themselves have those very same experiences, that they themselves had to walk away from unpleasant experiences or darkness, or people who very much told them and dictated to them how their life should look like and where they should go. Because one of the things you should know, pile 1, is when this person met you, they felt like they had a brand new beginning in their life, a brand new zest, a brand new joy and energy and invigoration. Because I get the sense that this person, prior to meeting you, had a very stale and boring, everyday, mundane, numbing, and painfully numbing experience that we sometimes fall into when we aren't being authentic, when we aren't pursuing the things that are in fact meaningful or exciting to us. But when they met you, they felt like this was a brand new beginning. You inspired them to start pursuing the things that they wanted to, that seemed difficult, unlikely, impossible, or just simply too challenging because they had their own insecurities, they were repressed in their own way. But when they met you, they felt like they could cut through all of that and start new things. So it's likely that this person, when they met you, they wanted to start a new beginning with you in their life. They wanted a creative partnership with you. They wanted a business partnership with you. Or that simply that you inspired them to face a part of themselves that they have numbed out, that they have very much turned away from. So one of the other things about you that they find very inspiring and motivating is the way that you are able to balance the things in your life that are sometimes very difficult to balance. And I'm getting the sense that they likely struggle with that in their own life. But when they met you, they got this sense that it's possible. It is possible to be multifaceted. It is possible to have multiple dimensions to yourself, to have family and work and your hobbies, your studies and your creative pursuits, and and to do both, and to do both effortlessly. And I think that this isn't something that, you know, I think they see this about you as effortless, but I don't think that you have an effortless experience. I think that you work very hard to get through the difficult parts of your life, the difficult parts of your day. But I think when they look at you, they see you as somebody who's able to balance these things effortlessly. Perhaps they know about your work, perhaps you know them from work, and they observe you at work, and they also know a little bit about your personal life, and they're kind of fascinated with how you can do both, or how you can follow your creative pursuits, your passions, but also do the day-to-day stuff that just needs to get done because who else is going to do it, right? And one of the other things about you, Pile 1, is that when they met you, they felt like they were meeting an old friend. They felt like they were reconnecting with somebody that they have known their whole life. So it's very likely that upon your first meeting, they opened up to you and they shared intimate details with you. Maybe they even came to you for advice or for clarity with this Ace of Swords card here. But they felt like they can do that because there's something about you that is very inherently trustworthy. There's something about you that is very reliable. Then it's easy to open up to you. It is easy to be vulnerable around you. You have this very carefree energy and trustworthy energy that makes them think that they can very much, especially here when you look at it, it looks like there's a storm in front of her, but she's like well, I mean, obviously she's almost angelic. She's got wings and this light that surrounds her, even though there's a lot of darkness around her as well. So I do get the sense that they were able to share dark and intimate secrets, or they wanted to, because they felt like you're somebody who can hold on to them and not judge them and not be critical of them, but also help them deal with it, help them clear their mind, clear their head, and approach things from a new perspective. And the other thing that I'm seeing here with this Magician card that reinforces this new beginnings energy here is I do think that when they met you, they saw you as somebody who is quite magical. But the Magician is also someone who can create their own destiny, create the outcomes that they are seeking. And in this particular card, why I love it so much is that there's this beautiful light. He's looking into this pool of water, and there's this gorgeous, almost like galactic light that emanates from it. And I think that very much reinforces to me that when they met you, it's almost like you were a brand new spark of light, excitement, that you brought color to the dullness that was otherwise their life, but also made them feel like they can achieve the things that do not seem achievable, that do not seem likely or probable, and you very much invigorated them in some way, shape, or form, whether that is, again, through creativity, through knowledge, intellectual pursuits, or just through following the path that you want for yourself to get to the destination you want to arrive at. And again, with this Blessings card here as well, which has a lot of the colors that this Magician card has, these beautiful blues and purples, this really gorgeous aquatic and space coloring that I love. It looks like the night sky and water, and I do think that when they saw you, you felt like a blessing to them. You seemed very charming, almost siren-like. I do think that there is a great deal of attraction here as well, the person that you're thinking of, just because I have this, I get this, I'm getting the message siren, like you very much lured them in some way, shape, or form. I don't think you were doing it intentionally, but they did feel quite a pull towards you because of all of this that I've mentioned, because you do come off as somebody who's very confident. You may not be agreeing with me. You may not feel that confident internally because, again, we all struggle with our own battles, but you do very much bring that out subconsciously or without much effort. And the other thing, like I had already mentioned, you are somebody that they think they can be open and honest with, and you can have very good conversations with them, because I have here, I speak with good intent. So I do think that they have opened up to you, shared their vulnerabilities to you, shared their weaknesses, their fears with you as well. And they can do it effortlessly because you do have something about you that very much makes them think that they can be open and honest and have those intimate discussions that are so terrifying for us, because we always find ourselves trying to avoid them, avoid trying to be vulnerable, especially with somebody who you've just met. That can be very difficult. But again, I do think that you have something about you that makes it easy for them to connect with you. It could be a childhood friend that you're thinking of with the Six of Cups card. But again, I do think that you just have something about you in this connection in particular that makes them feel like they've known you for a long time. So it's very likely that you had a very immediate connection here as well. And finally, going back to this Chariot, going back to where I get this strong sense that you've been through a lot. You had to forge ahead and make your own destiny and your own path, with this card here that says take control of your own narrative. I feel like this person very much sees you as somebody who has taken control of their own life, who has taken control of their own destiny, their own path, where they want to go, where they're headed. And with all of these books, it's very possible that you may have met in a setting where you were writing, you may have met in an academic setting, you may have met at work, where you have to do a lot of academic learning or academic work and studying and scholarly effort. But really, you know, more simply than that, you're somebody who, again, they see as someone who has chosen the life that they want, even when it wasn't the life that they were given. You likely did not have an upbringing or a life that necessarily was effortless, easy, simple. You've definitely had your great deal of challenges. You've definitely have and had your own deal of setbacks and difficulties, but you very much forged ahead, even when the journey that you were on, even when you were seeking, seemed improbable, unlikely, or difficult to achieve. So overall, again, I am getting the sense here that you are somebody who's very exciting, energizing for this person, that when they saw you, they wanted brand new experiences. You brought color and light back into their life. You brought them this new, invigorating zest for life, excitement. I'm getting the sense that after they've met you, they probably lied awake the whole night just thinking about you and how exciting you were and how excited they were to see you again and have conversations with you and laugh and joke and exchange ideas and exchange, you know, there's a lot of creative energy here. So it's very likely that you two likely then after this meeting had pursuits in the creative field or inspired one another to pursue the creative parts of yourselves, or that is to come. If this is a brand new connection, that is something that you can look forward to, because I do think that you have a lot of beautiful new beginnings on the horizon involving both of you. So that is what I have for you, pile one. Thank you so much for joining me. Leave a like, comment, and subscribe if you like this reading, and I hope to see you again very soon. Hello and welcome to your reading, pile 2. Thank you so much for joining me here today. And I'm just going to dive right into it. So what does this person that you're thinking of think about you? What did they think about you when they first met you? Let's have a look. So one of the things that I'm first drawn to is this Knight of Wands card. Now, it very much represents somebody who is very fearless, energized, just bold. You're someone who very much takes charge and I guess dives into battle and charges into battle. This card also represents somebody who is not afraid to fight and defend both themselves and the things that they love, the people that they love. And there's quite a lot of fearlessness about you that is very striking. And I think that is one of the things that they very much were drawn to when they first met you. You have this incredible fearlessness about you. And I find that this card is also really cool because she seems so playful and fun and sort of fantastical in a sense. So you may be somebody who's very much into fantasy, into the metaphysical, into the things that make life so much more mysterious and exciting. And I get that you're also somebody who's very hardworking. You have the 7 of Coins here. So you're somebody who they view as very hardworking, dedicated, somebody who very much puts in the effort into achieving their goals, their dreams, their ambitions. And I do think that you're somebody who quite likely sacrifices a lot in order to achieve these goals, and you're likely in a setting where this is very obvious to them, or this is something that they pick up on from their interaction with you. But in any case, they see you as somebody who very much puts in the effort for their future, for their dreams, and works very, very hard. So they do see you as someone who's very hardworking. The other thing that you have here is the High Priestess. And that just makes me think that this person sees you as somebody who's very mysterious. So it's very likely that perhaps before you even had your first interaction, they viewed you from afar, because you had this very mysterious essence about you. You're somebody who was very alluring, who drew them in. And the High Priestess is represented here as reading a book, and she's sitting on all of these pillows, and she has this beautiful moonlit sky behind her. And usually the High Priestess, behind her, she has curtains that are shrouding, you know, all of her vast knowledge, all of her secrets, and all of the mystical things that only she knows, and she'll share only when she's willing. So I do get the sense that perhaps before you two met, they were observing you from afar. There was probably a lot of unspoken energy between you, likely a lot of glances, likely a lot of things that were probably much more intuitive and psychic. Like you got a sense that this person may be interested in you, or you had this feeling that you were being watched by them, and not in a creepy way by any means, but just you had this inkling that this person had their eyes on you, and it's because you to them were very mysterious and exciting. There was something about you that they couldn't quite put a finger on, but that very much motivated them to want to approach you, to want to get to know you. And the other thing about you, Pile 2, is that you are somebody who they view as having been through a lot. So it's possible that when you first interacted, or when you do first interact, if this is still in the stages where things are kind of being viewed from a distance, from afar, they're going to find out that you're somebody who has very much been through a lot. And with the Six of Swords, one of the things about the Six of Swords is that it's usually depicted with somebody else on the boat, steering the boat out of troubled water. But here in particular, she's alone, and she's being pulled by these birds, and she's navigating the waters by herself. There isn't a second passenger in this boat. So I get the sense that they see you as somebody who is able to move through negativity, bad experiences, difficulty for a long time on your own. You had to very much be resilient, even if there was nobody else there to pull you out of things, out of the difficulties, out of the challenges that you have. And they do see you as somebody who's quite capable of doing that. That you, if it's necessary, can face the difficulties of life by yourself, that you don't need a companion. But they do, I think that, I don't know if this is a person that you're thinking of romantically, but I do get a sense that there's a lot of romantic energy here, especially with this commitment card. Because again, I feel that when they saw you, they very much felt like you're somebody worth committing to. You're somebody worth dedicating a lot of time and effort to get to know. And this isn't going to be something that very much builds quickly, that happens suddenly. This is going to be a bit of a slow burn. If this is something that you've already experienced, or if this is a novel, new connection, this is going to be a bit of a slow burn, because I think that they're viewing you as somebody that they very much want to invest in and work hard to get to know, and very much unshroud in its own time, because you do have this commitment card. So if this is a person that you're thinking of romantically, or romantic connection, this is going to be a bit of a slow burn. This is going to take a little bit of time to evolve. And again, because things may be a little bit more shrouded and mysterious with this High Priestess card for now, at a distance, without too much contact at first. But eventually it is going to grow and develop, and there is going to be movement. But I think for now, they're almost looking at you from afar and reveling in the sort of attractiveness, this mystery, this shroudedness that you bring to them. I think you're very exciting to them. But when they do get to know you, they are going to find out that there's parts of you that are resilient and strong and independent, and that you're able to navigate your life and the difficulties effortlessly with yourself, and only yourself to guide the way. So you're quite inspirational in that way as well. And then you also have the Three of Wands, which again represents expansion, hard work, effort. I do think that you're somebody who works very hard in the areas in your life. You do put the most in to the things that you want to achieve, to your goals, and you're quite inspirational in that sense. And also, Three of Wands can represent travel. So I think that it's likely that you two are going to talk about traveling together, all of the places you have been and they have been. You're somebody who's probably very worldly and like to travel and expand and grow and go new places, have new experiences, enjoy different cultures. And I think that that's something that they're going to very much like about you, because I think they're going to want to travel with you, or they're going to want to hear about all of your experiences, because I think they're also somebody who enjoys that part as well. And you also have the Page of Cups. And the Page of Cups represents almost this youthful purity, this innocence, this emotional, this emotional excitement. You're somebody who's quite connected to your emotions, but you also tend to be a little bit in the clouds as well. You're somebody who loves to fantasize, especially with this card here. You can see like with a the little pig with wings. So that makes me think of When Pigs Fly, which makes me think that you're somebody who very much likes to fantasize about things and imagine the things that seem impossible or impractical, and you're in your head a lot as well. But you're also somebody who's quite emotionally in touch in a very playful way. I get this very playful sense from this card as well. And like I said, it really makes me think that you may be somebody who's quite young or quite youthful in your view of the world, quite playful. You love to joke around, have fun, and not take things too seriously with this Page of Cups. And you do have the Innocence card here. So I do think that they view you as somebody who is quite not pure in the puritanical kind of way, like pure and innocent, but just somebody who is very sweet, someone who is very fun, exciting, youthful, energizing, just playful. And you do have a bit of innocence about you that they are very drawn towards, but again, not in the puritanical sense, but just in that exciting, fun, just, it's hard to put into words really, but in just, you very much make them think of things in a lighthearted way, in a playful way. And I do think that you two probably are going to have a lot of time laughing and joking and just having fun and enjoying the more imaginative, fantastical side of things. So if you're into fantasy, you're into the metaphysical, you're into the things that maybe are more youthful and, adults might scoff at and not entertain because they're too serious and rigid, this person's going to love that about you, that you're able to be playful and fun and joke around with them. They're going to be drawn into that. And the other thing about you is I think that you're somebody who's quite fun and sarcastic and bold, but there's always hints of truth to it with this I Speak with Sincerity card and the Page of Cups card. I do think that you're somebody who really loves to be open and honest. You're very direct and playful and exciting. And I do think they're going to love that about you. I think you have a little bit of a cutting edge. You probably have a quite incredible sense of humor that is always tinged with a little bit of reality, but you tend to play things off in a more fun way. I'm hearing that you don't like to take serious things too seriously, not because you don't think, again, you're very hardworking. You have a lot of very dedicated, committed energy with this 3 of Wands and 7 of Pentacles card, but you also love to unwind and have a good time. And they're definitely going to want to have those times together. They're going to want to share the playful, fun, more jovial moments with you. And again, so the other thing that again ties back to the 6 of Swords is I think that when they meet you, they're going to quickly find out that you're somebody who struggles with right now existing difficulties and challenges. Perhaps you struggle with your mental health. Perhaps you struggle with parts of your life that may not have been so pleasant, and you still work through it, you deal with it. But they're going to be someone who's going to see you as someone who deserves the good and the sweeter parts of things. They're going to meet you and interact with you and think of you as somebody who deserves sugar, not salt. So it's very likely that you have had a lot of bad experiences. If this is a romantic connection, this person's going to want to change that for you. They're going to want to give you the sweeter parts of life, the more playful parts of life, the more exciting and invigorating parts of life instead of the difficulties and the challenges you have faced. They're going to want to have fun with you and play around and have a more lighthearted experience instead of the places you have likely been, which have been difficult, challenging, and painful and depressing. And instead they're going to want to give you the experiences that are a little bit more lighthearted and much more fun. So that is what I'm seeing for you, Pile 2. Thank you so much for joining me here today. Leave a like, comment, and subscribe if you like this reading, and I hope to see you again very soon. Hello and welcome to your reading pile 3. Thank you so much for joining me here today, and I'm going to get right into it. So I am drawn to this Page of Coins or Page of Pentacles card, and in particular in this deck, what this card symbolizes is the ending of the winter and the movement towards spring and summer. And it's actually described very beautifully in the booklet that accompanies this card, where they talk about it as moving away from darkness into light. But the page is somebody who's very, very youthful and at the very beginning stages of a journey. So it's very likely that you are somebody who is at the very beginning stages of a career, your education, or whatever setting that you and this person is. They see you as somebody who's at the very beginning of that setting. So you may be somebody, if you met this person at work, you could be somebody who is in the lower ranks of this profession, just starting out, just starting to learn and grow. Or if this is somebody who views you in a creative field, you're beginning, you're starting out, you're building your skill, and you're moving towards prosperity. So they do see you as a bit of a youthful, maybe a little bit inexperienced, but definitely somebody who is motivated, who is in charge of their destiny, who is very impassioned and skilled and moving towards the things that they desire, the things that they want. So that is how they see you. And the other thing about you, pile 3, it's likely that you may have met this person when you're in a bit of a crossroads. So if you're at the beginning of a journey, you may feel like you have a difficult decision to make. You may be figuring things out. You may still be trying to learn how to navigate the profession or field that you're in, or you're trying to move towards something more permanent, and you're not quite sure. You're figuring things out. You're in between two places and you're trying to make a decision. And perhaps if this is a romantic connection, maybe you're leaving another connection and trying to move towards somebody new, and you're trying to decide which way to go, how to transition. But I do think that you may be in between two places, pile 3. And the other thing about you, pile 3, is that this person views you as somebody who's been through quite a lot of loss and pain as well. Whether consciously or subconsciously, they do see you as somebody who likely struggles quite a lot, has a lot of loss or grief that has recently transpired that maybe made you feel a little bit depressed, affected your mental health, and perhaps you have been... I think that when they're observing you, they see the moments where you're struggling, where you stare off into the distance, where you have a little bit of pain or difficulty, and they have seen this about you as well. I think they're observing you from afar, and they notice those moments where you're struggling, you're in your mind, you're thinking about things, you're very pensive, and it's very likely that one of the things that you are going to bond with this person about is mental health and resilience and recovering from difficult moments and challenges in your life. So it's likely that one of the things that you two are going to bond about, either immediately or in the long term, is your mental health struggles and perhaps even a loss that has happened in your life recently. Or you may have also met this person at a time when you were struggling or at a loss, and this is going to be a point that you bond over. And the other thing is that even though you were at a loss and you're struggling, you're still somebody who's very motivated. You're still somebody who has a lot of direction and zest and energy with this Chariot card. You're somebody who is not stuck in that difficulty. You're somebody who likely took charge of whatever it is that was challenging, and you've now forged a path and you know the course that you are embarking on. So if there were difficulties you were facing, you are now moving away from those challenges towards something better and brighter, and you have this brand new revitalized energy, and they're also seeing that as well. So it's, again, I get the sense that they likely had an opportunity to observe you through certain phases in your life before perhaps having a formal meeting or introduction with you. So they may have heard things about you. If this is in an environment where there's a community or a friend group or a work environment, they may have known things about you, like you've suffered a loss or you're struggling, and they have also observed you recharging and getting new vigor and energy, because this Chariot card is followed by the 9 of Pentacles. And the Nine of Pentacles is somebody who is very independent, mature, hardworking, who puts in the effort so that the fruits of their labor can bring them prosperity at the end of all of that effort, at the end of all of that hard work. And I think that is something else about you, pile 3. You're somebody who is now starting to evolve and gather the fruits of your labor. Or again, you may be in the early stages of wherever it is that you are, work or school, academia, whatever setting that this is in, but they have watched you evolve and take reins and face the challenges that you have faced and come out of it as somebody who's hardworking and skilled and independent. So I feel like there's a lot of evolution happening in these cards with the Page, the Five of Cups, the Chariot, and the Nine of Pentacles. So I do get the sense that this person maybe has been observing you for a while from afar, or asking people about you. I think that there's likely a curiosity that was sparked about you, and they maybe are asking others about you to get to know you a little bit more prior to that formal introduction, because there's quite a lot of phases that are happening here in sequence. And then finally with this World card, and I think it pairs very beautifully with the Page of Coins, this idea of coming out of the darkness towards the light, of shedding the cold months of winter for spring and summer, this new revitalization and rebirth. The World card is all about completion, about coming to the end of a very challenging experience and being complete and whole and celebrating that completion as well. So I get the sense that wherever this person is, whoever this person is that you're thinking of, has again seen you through a lot of phases. And again, not in a creepy way, they're not stalking you, but they've definitely seen you evolve through various stages of your life. So there could be someone, again, that maybe knew you from a distance, from afar, from a friend group, in a work setting, in a school setting, and they have heard about you, heard things about you that really they found quite inspirational and exciting and interesting. And they have watched this evolution about you. You're definitely someone who's quite complex, who has been through a lot of growth, of development, and you have grown into your own skin, into your own maturity, into your independence, into your own self-worth. And they find this incredibly inspiring and motivating. I do get a lot, again, I do think that there is a bit of a relationship here that may have occurred prior to your first meeting, because their first impression is quite complex. They seem to know quite a lot about you. So they're very much inspired by the journey and the trajectory that you've taken to grow into the person that you are becoming. And I do think that you've been through quite a lot of phases. And the other thing about you is that, once again, I do think that you're somebody who has a very good reputation wherever it is that you are, whether it is work or school or your friend group, because you have the I speak positively of others card. I do think that people have a lot of very positive things to say about you, which is why I do get the sense that this person was asking about you and perhaps trying to figure you out before they even had the strength or courage to speak to you directly. So I do think that they have a bit of your history that they know. Maybe they've watched you on social media. Maybe you have something that's a project that is publicly accessible, a social media presence, and they've kind of pieced together parts of you and formed their opinion of you, which is very overall very positive and very inspiring. And then you also have this Clarity and Light card here. And what I think that this represents is that you're somebody who to them is a very inspirational figure, a source of clarity and insight as well. I think that through your lived experiences, even if they may be older than you, I get the sense that maybe they are a little bit older than you, not by much, but something about you very much brings them clarity into a part of themselves that I think that was a little bit hidden or lost or stale. And again, this makes me think of pile 1 in a lot of ways. So you might want to check that pile out as well, because I do think that you're somebody who brought them a lot of motivation and inspiration, a lot of excitement and reinvigoration with this Clarity and Light card, because you have the Lighthouse here as well. So maybe you're somebody in your friend group that people come to for comfort or advice, and they like to divulge their challenges and difficulties and open up to. But I do think that this person thinks it's very very safe to open up to you and to share with you. And it's very likely that you share a lot of the same experiences, a lot of the same challenges, some of the same griefs and losses, and they feel like they can open up to you. But again, I feel like you offer them a perspective that they haven't seen before, and I think that that is part of why they're drawn into you, even though you may be a little bit younger, a little less experienced in whatever area it is that you may be in. You do have a lot of knowledge and insight to be gathered and to be explored as well. So I do think that this person sees you as someone who is quite exciting, and again, I get this really strong sense that they likely come to you for advice in some capacity. And again, if they did ask people about you when they finally met you, all of those things were just affirmed, that all of the positive things that people say about you behind your back, because you do seem to have a very positive reputation, that they were almost relieved that those things were exactly as they were said, that you are exactly as advertised in a lot of ways. And I do think that that is something that they very much admire about you as well, is that you have a very positive presence wherever this is. And finally, going back to this Five of Cups card, it says here that villain, you can always rewrite the story. Now, what this card really speaks about is somebody who has been through a lot of painful challenges, a lot of setbacks, and has experienced a battle with a villainous figure, or just a battle with something that may not have been as easy to stomach, not as easy to go through, and you are able to rewrite your story. So I do think that you're somebody who's very much in the progress of moving through a lot of painful experiences and reshaping yourself and finding a better, more positive approach to the things that may be challenging, may be difficult. If you are struggling with your mental health, then you're finding ways to cope. You're finding ways to deal with the painful aspects of your experience and make them something positive. Come to the end of that difficult period and seek completion with this gorgeous Page of Pentacles card and the World card, both of which speak about moving away from the darkness towards the light, moving away from difficult experiences towards harmony and celebration. So I do think that you're someone that this person views as having been through a lot of difficulties, having faced a lot of challenges, and emerged on the other end victorious, successful, and inspirational. So that is what I have for you, Pile 3. Thank you so much for joining me here today. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you like this reading, and I do hope to see you again very soon. Welcome to your reading, Pile 4. Thank you so much for joining me here today. I'm going to get right into it. So I'm going to start with this Queen of Cups. Now, this card symbolizes somebody who is empathetic, compassionate, warm, inviting, authentic, genuine. And I do get the sense that you are embodied by this card, and the way that this person views you is embodied by this card. I think that you are somebody in your friend group or in your community or your workplace, wherever this setting may be, somebody that people gravitate towards when they're feeling like they need guidance, advice, support, and you offer it freely. You're somebody that people can come to unburden, to unload, to share their difficulties, their challenges, and you lend a listening ear. So it's very likely that you met this person perhaps in this capacity, or that this person has very much come to you and sought your support on issues, and that you offered your support gladly and willingly. And that is something they admire about you quite a lot. And one of the other things that I'm sensing about you, Pile 4, is that you make people around you feel relaxed, and you specifically make this person that you're thinking of feel very relaxed in your presence. And that likely comes with that Queen of Cups energy, that very emotionally stable, dependable energy that people gravitate towards. And I think this is just in general, but also specifically to this person. They do find that they can be themselves around you, that they can relax, they can unburden, unwind, and share their difficulties, share their experiences with you without feeling that they're going to be judged, without feeling that they're going to be criticized. And they feel at ease in your presence. They feel relaxed when they are around you. The other thing about you, pile 4, is you have the King of Swords appearing twice. Now, the King of Swords is a very loyal, disciplined energy. It is a wisdom that is enhanced by authority. It is very much a leadership energy. So I think that for this person, you very much resemble somebody who is very dependable, who is very intelligent and sophisticated, but also someone that has this very incredible leadership quality about them that they are very much drawn into, because they do get the sense that when they are in your presence, you can have very deep and intimate discussions, both on the emotional Queen of Cups side of things, but also a very intelligent, well-rounded conversation when it comes to issues of and all kinds of subjects. So it's very likely that you and this person have a lot of very deep, intelligent, emotional conversations that you're able to talk about, not only about the real life issues, the things that are happening right here and right now, but also the things that are just fun subjects to discuss, just discussing your experiences, your knowledge, topics of any kind. I think that you're very well read. You're somebody that they see as quite intelligent. You know a lot about a lot of different subjects. Your knowledge is very vast, and they can have a lot of really fun and exciting discussions with you as well, even when it doesn't have to be about emotions or burdens and challenges. So I do think they're quite drawn to you on that level as well. And although this reading isn't specific to a romantic connection, you do have the Two of Cups here. So immediately I can tell that there's quite a strong attraction between you and this person. They are very drawn to you in a romantic way as well, whether that is obvious to you or not. They are romantically drawn to you. They do think about you as somebody they can have a romantic connection with, or a very, very intimate, long-lasting connection. And that was their first impression of you. It could have been love at first sight. It definitely was a strong romantic attraction at first sight, but they definitely see you as somebody that they can have in their life in the long run, in the long term. And the other thing about you, pile 4, is I can immediately tell you're somebody who is very, very hardworking. You have the Eight of Pentacles. So the way that this person views you is as somebody who's very skilled, diligent, disciplined, hardworking, and someone who puts in the effort to achieve their goals, to achieve the things that they are working on. They do see you as someone who is quite keen on ensuring that the work gets done. You commit yourself fully to the projects that you're working on, or to studies or your creative endeavors, regardless of what it is. They do see you as somebody who's very, very, very resilient and hardworking and able to face the challenges that are up ahead with quite a lot of sophistication. And also in this particular card, there's a lot of spiritual symbolism as well. So perhaps they also find it curious how spiritual you are, and they might have some insight into your spirituality, and they find it very admirable the way that you're able to grow and transform and evolve. And the other thing is that you are somebody who has been through a lot of evolution. You are somebody who has been through a lot of transformation with this Death card, and it's likely that you have had a lot of challenges in your path. You have had a lot of experiences that have transformed you, that have shaped who you are today. But the other thing about this card that really jumps out at me is this really shrouded curtain here that makes me think that you're somebody who's also very mysterious. There are a lot of parts about yourself that, although others can come to you and divulge and share, there are a lot of parts of yourself that you do not readily reveal, that you reveal over time, because they are hidden behind this curtain here. And I feel like the person that you're thinking about is this little girl right here, or rather represented by this little girl right here, and they want to peel back the curtain, and they're almost a little bit intimidated by what's behind the curtain, because they find you so alluring and attractive and complex. So it's very likely that they're not ready to make all of these feelings known. They're not ready to take big steps towards you, because they do think you're a little bit mysterious, a little bit shrouded. They may not know how to read you, but they are incredibly curious by you, and they do see you as somebody who is quite, in not not easy to read, not stagnant, always changing and always growing and developing and shaping and reshaping yourself. And I do think that it's likely very obvious by the way that you dress and present yourself with this sundress card here. I get the sense that you're somebody who very much appreciates and enjoys being authentically yourself and using your physical expression as a mode of making sure that you're being authentic, making sure you're being sincere and genuine, and putting forward a version of yourself that is authentic even when the setting may not be appropriate. So I don't mean like dressing completely inappropriately in the workplace, but I mean that, for example, she's wearing a sundress in a snowstorm. She is in clearly a very cold environment, but she's wearing a sundress and she's just really embracing herself, embracing how she looks and feeling herself in that moment. And I do think that they find you physically attractive because of the way you're also able to stand out in a crowd and be yourself authentically. And that's what I get a sense of. You stand out in a crowd the way that a girl in a sundress would stand out in a snowstorm or in the mountains. You really grab their attention by how you express yourself in the setting that you both are in. And I do think that they're very drawn to you physically and drawn to how you express yourself. So I do think that as well for you, Pile 4. And the other thing about you, Pile 4, is I do think that they find you to be very bold. They find you to be very courageous with this courage card here. And this could be just how you express yourself, how you carry yourself, how you tackle the difficult tasks with this 8 of Pentacles, how you tackle the setting that you're in, your workplace, your creative endeavors, your academic efforts, whatever it is. They find you very courageous. Maybe you do something that's very forward facing. You put yourself out there, you express yourself publicly. Maybe you have a platform on social media. Maybe you do work that takes a lot of courage, that is almost untreaded path. You do things very boldly and you face challenges head on and fearlessly. And I do think that they find you quite strong and striking and courageous for that reason as well, Pile 4. And again, I think overall, this is quite a strong attraction, a very strong connection. I don't know if you're thinking about somebody romantically, but this person certainly is. With this 2 of Cups, with this Queen of Cups, there's quite an emotional connection, a very deep connection here as well, whether you're aware of it or not. And the other thing, like I said, they do feel at ease around you. They feel like they can be themselves authentically and put down any kind of boundaries or barriers that they've built around themselves. And it is because they find you so genuine and so authentic with the I give offerings that are genuine card right here. And that's what I have for you, Pile 4. I do think that this is a very strong attraction, a strong connection, that they find you very beautiful. They love the way that you express yourself. They love how intelligent and complex you are. And that is what I have for you, Pile 4. Thank you so much for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe if you like this reading. And I hope to see you again very soon.